we'll see if we're smiling at the end of this review or not. But I thank you for joining me, horror fans. As usual, we will begin here with the IMDb plot. After witnessing a bizarre, traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. Yes, her reality is screwed from that point on. Um, but yeah, we're talking about Smile here. I'm not going to attempt a crazy smile like I've seen a lot of people do on these videos or post on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. As you see, I don't do too much smiling or here or whatever. So I will not be attempting that to I know your large disappointment. Instead, we will talk about this movie and try to keep this fairly spoiler free. Um, don't even want to try to kind of explain what happens at the end, but not that it doesn't make sense, but I'm not going to go through that. Um, but yeah, this one is another one that I've been trying to catch up on, and missed it. I was very looking forward to this one when it kind of came out. So it was tough kind of having to wait to see this, but glad I finally was able to. And basically here, as it kind of says here, we have a woman who's kind of doing her job, doing her thing, treating patients and so forth. And unfortunately, she's one of these ones that kind of come across the wrong patient and ends up with a patient that is seems kind of normal. I mean, it's a normal looking girl, young woman, and in the process of kind of having a quick conversation, flips, goes crazy, and gives her that creepy smile look that we see, and proceeds to kill herself. And in the process of doing all that magic trick there, somehow passes along this curse or so forth to the good doctor. And at first, obviously it's hard to believe. The young girl kind of explains a little bit about what's going on here to the doc, but the doc is used to seeing crazy people and so forth, the people with issues, and doesn't make anything extraordinary of it, except is a little traumatized by how quickly this young woman freaks out and obviously kills herself in front of her. And which would probably freak out any doctor, and so forth, especially a new patient and one that had all good intentions of just coming to a room and helping, and before you know it, it goes south really quickly. And so from that point on, you can almost think of it as kind of like The Ring. It's one of these things that hey, you popped on that videotape, you watched it, you saw the bad part, and now you have X amount of time before you are screwed. And that's kind of what's happening here. And as it kind of rolls on, she gets a little more hint of what is coming, and she kind of freaks out. She starts seeing things that aren't there, starts seeing other people smile, is wondering what is happening, and basically has a huge meltdown. Is told to leave her work for a short time to kind of gather herself. Does some weird stuff in front of some friends and family to kind of freak them out. So yeah, she's freaked out her boyfriend or fiance, and freaking out herself and freaking out everybody around her. And you would do so here with seeing these people with these creepy smiles every once in a while. And then comes one of these films, again like The Ring kind of, and maybe The Grudge, where she's got to kind of no one's really going to help her. She's going to have to try to dig herself out of her own hole here. So she starts investigating. She does find one person on her side, an ex-boyfriend or friend, and kind of a little bit later on in the film, he kind of does more to help her out. but she's gonna have to do the bulk of it here. I mean, she's gonna have to kind of figure out what it is, what's kind of following her, what is this curse, and is there a way to get rid of it, and if there is, can she get rid of it? And that's kind of the road we travel through this movie. um, I can't say that I've seen too many movies this year that have stressed kind of the jump scare kind of thing. We've seen, a mix of different other type of horror movies, but I would say that this one here, if you were looking for the jump scare kind of film, this one probably is it. They're definitely going to try to get you. They're going to try to get you with the smiling. They're going to get you with moments where you kind of think that it's a normal kind of setting, and all of a sudden things kind of flip. For those who have seen the movie, I'm going to hesitate to say it, but maybe if you kind of take my hint to flip, maybe if you push real hard there. I don't want to say it, I don't want to give it away, but I thought that was one of the better scenes in the movie. Didn't expect that happening. But yeah, they're going to have, a couple of those moments where you kind of see, and she's gonna kind of see, and things seem normal, but then it all of a sudden is not normal, and you're gonna see a smile, or you're gonna see someone kind of go crazy or do something really odd or awkward and whatever. So they're gonna kind of get you in that way. So not that I jumped out of my seat and fell down or anything. For horror fans in general, that's very hard to really get you these days, once you've been so exposed to it. But I always looked for the attempt and how they do it, and was it a good try, and I certainly imagined this was, I obviously didn't see this in theaters, so I would imagine this would have been a fun movie to see in theaters, to see people's reaction and so forth, to see how scared they really got. Sometimes if you get a good audience, that can be a good thing. Other audiences don't react as well and are immature and so forth. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, I could see a few moments in this movie where it might have got some people and then led to some fun there. But yeah, there's one particular scene I like. I don't want to mention it for those who have not seen it. I want to give you a fair chance to get scared, or at least enjoy that scene as much as possible. And but I think that if you're looking for like we've seen, like Art was a movie with a lot of blood. We've seen tons of movies with all about kind of the story and hiding or twist and that kind of thing. Some movies with messages and so forth. But I think this one is really your jump scare movie. I'm trying to think back of some of the other movies this year, if there was any others that had a lot of jump scares in it, and I don't think of it many having as much focus as this one did, as far as that. So if you're a fan of that, this one might be for you. I think the story was not too bad. Again, like I said, it kind of gets into this investigative thing, but still gives you those creepy movies. And like I said, it kind of reminds me of the similar kind of setup to kind of The Grudge or The Ring, something that those kind of movies. So it's not bad in that respect. Let me see. I'm really curious. Oh, good. That's not too bad. I guess Sosie Bacon, I think that's her name. She does a pretty good job here. She's carrying a lot of the weight of the film on her, to kind of react to all this craziness that's going on around her. She does a pretty good job. As far as where it ends, it does gonna give you an intense scene. Probably takes it a little bit further than maybe I would have thought. You're definitely going to find out what is happening here and why this curse exists and why it kind of passes on and so forth. And probably went a little bit further than I thought it was. I didn't think that they were, not that it's bad. I'm not saying that it was bad, but I didn't think it was going to, have an ending scene kind of the way it kind of went, as far as showing you the curse and what is happening there. But I thought that was okay. I liked the way it ended. Maybe a touch predictable, and maybe the final moments of what was going to happen. and maybe it's, they try to small twist you here, but it might work for some, might not for others. Not a huge twist, but just try to keep you thinking, keep it going maybe a little bit further than it had to. But it was all fine. Not a complaint about the end. Just kind of saying, without giving you any too much details, because I don't want to spoil it. But definitely, credit to them, whoever thought of this. It was definitely, a great marketing thing. I read some stuff about, their marketing and so forth. Kind of makes it easy. I don't see how you don't see this movie, at least to see, what is going on here and watch these people smile and so forth. Unless you're absolutely terrified of it and just want no part of these people smiling and so forth. But they make the most of it. A smile is supposed to be a happy thing, and usually a sign of happiness or pleasing and whatever. And you don't, if someone's smiling in this movie, that's not a good thing, not a good thing at all. But I guess the end question is how many pools of blood, and am I really smiling at it? And I am. I thought it was good, and this is another one that I wanted to see because a lot of horror fans liked it, and so I wanted to make sure that I checked this off my list before the end of the year as well. So I'm glad I did. I just did one or two other reviews, and I was kind of thinking, at this time of the year, when you're catching up and that horror fans like a month, and then you kind of catch up, and then you've just done other reviews, you're kind of placing it, because that dreaded top 5, top 10 list is coming. I haven't decided to do top 5 or 10 yet. And if I give it X rating, where is that going to land and so forth? Or did I like this movie or that movie at the end of the day? It sometimes is more complicated than it has to be. But yeah, especially coming off other reviews of other movies that I liked, it can be kind of crazy. But I think I'm going to go with 3.5 pools of blood here. Like I said, I liked it, like what was going on. Didn't, think it went as crazy as maybe it could have. I thought, it did get bloody. You guys know that I like my blood and guts. I thought it did have a good scene or two in that regard. And, like I said, the young girl obviously kills herself early. That was a bit bloody. And then there's some other good moments along the way. So, it did all right in that aspect. But again, it was more about the jump scares than necessarily the blood. So, I think, maybe that's why 3.5 pools of blood. And kind of, when I see similarities to other movies, then, I'm like, that doesn't make it, 100% original, or I know it's hard to be 100% original, but, I don't venture myself as being someone who quite attaches other movies to things. So when I do, I kind of like, whatever. So yeah, enough. 3.5 pools of blood, and that is out of 5, in case you don't know. Not going to give you a big smile now, and I promised I wasn't going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But with that, horrorscorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, the video reviews, and written reviews. They're all there. But if you just want to listen to me ramble here and not smile, that can be done by subscribing, liking, and doing all those things. If you want, no pressure. If not, no problem. Like everybody wants you to do, and on and on and on. Twitter, Facebook, you can find me there as well. Lots of people jumping off the Twitter bandwagon, but I've been there a long time, and whatever, gonna probably go down the tubes with it. Twitter, Facebook, as well. Reach out to me, talk about horror, talk about this movie. You can show me your best smile if you want, or down in the comment section, feel free to comment on your thoughts about the movie. Did it leave you smiling or not? Turn that frown upside down and all that good stuff. And with that, I thank you for joining me, and I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.